episode, we are going to discuss the 5 reasons why your diet fails.
Yeah, and we could probably add a lot more to that list, but there's 5 that we're going to discuss anyway.
Yeah, probably the most important ones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the 5 things that we are currently doing / experiencing during our photo shoot prep as well, because at the end of the day, photo shoot prep is basically just a prolonged diet.
Exactly. It's literally what it is, and like that, I was 12 weeks into my diet when I decided I was going to do a photo shoot.
Yeah.
On 8 weeks' notice, I said I might as well have something to push for and something to work towards. Obviously, I had a kind of start and end date. My diet phase was meant to be 12 to 14 weeks. Got to the 12-week point, felt like I could lose more, and said, right, let's set a goal here, let's set a challenge. Going to do a photo shoot, get as lean as I possibly can, and get some photographic evidence.
Absolutely. Yeah, and like you mentioned, in terms of goals, I spent January, so I spent 4 weeks maybe just putting off the fluff after Christmas and stuff, and I had maintained during that point, but I didn't have any goals in place. I was thinking of a photo shoot.
You've been talking about it for a while,
I was, rumblings about it, alright, because I spent the last 7 years powerlifting.
100%,
So I was thinking of like an aesthetics-based goal at the end of the year, and then you mentioned to me,
you jumped in fairness.
I'm doing a photo shoot in 8 or 9 weeks time again, and absolutely I was like, man for the challenge.
Mark said sign me up straight away,
Yeah, so here we find ourselves. But anyways, we'll get stuck in, I suppose, with the 5 reasons why your diet fails.
I think the first one that we have to mention, because it's right at the forefront of my mind right now, is hunger.
Are you hungry?
I'm hungry.
Yeah.
It's almost lunchtime. But yeah, I think it's a big thing. Like, people feel like they can't be hungry or they need to be full all the time.
Yeah, and because I'm only back from Japan, people think, oh, you're losing weight out there, you must be, and you're eating all this great food. Like, at the end of the day, you're only seeing the highlights.
Absolutely, yeah, the highlight reel.
You didn't see how hungry I was during the day.
Yeah.
Between fucking 1 to 5 p.m. and I knocking back 3 coffees a day, just trying to maintain some sort of, just satiate myself in some fashion.
Same.
You're going to be hungry. And that's just like, at the end of the day, if you are looking to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. You've heard that a million times before, but what does that actually entail? That means you need to eat less food on a regular basis, usually over the week, maybe move a little bit more in order to elicit that deficit. But with that comes a little bit of hunger at times. It's 100%. Going to be uncomfortable.
Yep. It's like, that's letting you know you're doing it right. You know then you're burning fat if you're hungry, right? And don't get us wrong, at the start of a diet phase you shouldn't be starving, right? You don't want to be starving yourself, but the longer it goes on, the leaner you get, the more active you have to be, the lower your calories are, you're going to be a little bit hungry, and that's just the fact of the matter, right? And I put up my Instagram story the other day, like, if you're not hungry, you're doing it wrong. You need to be a little bit hungry from time to time, and there's certain things you can do to like curb that hunger. Obviously, like you mentioned, have a cup of coffee, you can drink more water, make sure you're getting enough protein, make sure you have enough fibre, etc. All of those things help, but you are going to experience some form of hunger, like between meals, before meals, and that's okay. You don't have to eat immediately when you're hungry. You can just suck it up and accept the fact, I'm a little bit hungry here, I'm going to sit with it, my next meal is in an hour or 2, I can manage, I'll drink a bit more water, or I'll have a coffee, or I'll have a Coke Zero.
Yeah, and on that point, as you said, you're feeling the hunger now, but you have been dieting for more than 14 weeks up until this point.
Yeah.
But you weren't feeling like that week 2, week 3.
Not at all.
And another point, like you said there, trying to get more fibre in and more protein and stuff. At the start of your diet as well, if you're eating like crap, or if you're trying to factor in all the foods that you love, if you're trying to factor in a Supermax every Friday evening, you're probably going to be a lot more hungry because you're not actually filling yourself up. Whereas if you actually do make those slight adjustments, like getting more fibre in, so having a plant or a fruit at each meal, having a source of protein at each meal, then you're making things a little bit easier on yourself. Just try to make things easier for yourself at the start, so it can be more successful.
Definitely, and it's going to help with how you feel as well and how you perform if you're optimizing like food quality. Like you could make up your calories with Supermax or McDonald's, but you're going to feel like a bag of shite and you're going to look like a bag of shite. So it's important to have good quality foods making up the most of your diet.
Yeah, That's pretty much it. Like
Yeah.
you will experience hunger, especially the longer you go into the diet. But just suck it up, basically.
Exactly.
But there are definitely ways that you can get around it.
Yeah.
Any other points on that?
No, I don't think so. No, and I think point number 2, like the point of tracking and actually knowing, because it's what we've just been mentioning about having protein and fiber. How do you know if you don't track?
Yeah, so same thing again. If you want to make things as easy as possible for yourself, know how much calories you are consuming. Because if it's very easy for me to say, just you can starve yourself, no bother. You can fast for 24 hours, you'll lose a bit of weight. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But you're going to feel like shite. It's not going to last forever. You're going to crash at the end of the week probably.
Yeah.
So why don't you start tracking and seeing actually how much food you are consuming on a daily basis, and that will make things just 10 times easier.
Data matters. Like at the end of the day, data matters. And like the old cliche, as cringe as it is to say it, what gets measured gets managed. And if you're not tracking, you're guessing. Guessing just simply won't cut it. It's as simple as that. And you might make it's cringe as fuck, but it's the facts of the matter.
Absolutely.
And you might make some progress without tracking, but that will eventually stall, and you won't know what changes you need to make because you don't have any data.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons it's something that I expect all of my clients to do, is track their data.
And I could easily go on a bit of a rant for this, only for I've had that coffee and I'm not too hungry at the moment. But like, people are making up that tracking calories and stuff that it causes eating disorders, or that it is seen as a really bad thing, that you shouldn't be obsessing over the numbers. Fuck that.
Do you know what the new one is?
Well,
it takes too long.
Takes too long?
It takes too long, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it takes me too long to track my food.
All right. How long you spend on TikTok?
Exactly.
Scrolling through reels. Literally, like, we are absolutely blessed to have a free app on our phones. All of us have access to it. It is literally just a couple of swipes away. You can pre-log meals that you've had
But Mark,
the day before.
it's obsessive.
It is very obsessive.
If you track your food, you're obsessed. That could develop an eating disorder.
Very much so.
Oh
yes.
no!
But if you look at somebody that's wealthy and they're taking notes of, and they're factoring in, like, if they're managing their finances, you don't see them as being obsessive. You see them as being quite successful, and they're wealthy for a reason. The very same thing with the calories. Like, at the end of the day, it's a numbers game. And if you actually know how much calories you're consuming with a free app that we all have access to, which is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's such a
so easy to
result,
use.
because lo and behold, there are people before the likes of MyFitnessPal was around, had to literally write them out.
And do the sums.
Yes.
Yeah. Old school.
Yeah. Now that could be quite challenging.
Absolutely.
but like, there's no excuse why people can't.
None.
And if you don't know how to use MyFitnessPal, learn. How do you think we figured
Shameless
it out?
plug. I have a free user guide on how to use MyFitnessPal. If you want it, drop a comment and I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Well, how to use MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
Because it is the main one to go to. Now, it did update actually when I landed from Japan.
Yeah, mine updated as well.
It updated when I got off the plane.
Took a few minutes to get used to that. I'm used to it now. It's faster. You can literally swipe. Do you see that? You can swipe. Like, if I had the same breakfast almost every day, you can just swipe and it adds it for the next day. Yeah. It's so easy.
Yeah, like, just make things easier for yourself. If you don't know how to use MyFitnessPal, if you don't know how to track your calories, learn.
Yeah.
There's YouTube out there.
Yeah.
Like what you're watching right now.
Exactly.
It doesn't take that much brain knowledge to learn how to do this kind of stuff. But when you do learn how to track your calories, it will just make your diet so much easier to stick to, because you actually know how much calories or how much food you're to consume on a daily basis. Then by the end of the week, you actually see a result. You see that drop in the scales. Go you. Motivation's up for the next week, and you plow on from there.
I have a serious urge to go on a rant about tracking calories and all that, but I think we'll save that for another video.
We can do it. Yeah. I think that is a video in itself.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But that kind of ties into point number 3, which is your thought process that you have to be 100% on, or else you're off.
Yeah. It's like I actually had a conversation with a client the other day. She was working really long hours and she spent like 5 hours travelling. She was driving. Bless you, in advance.
Oh, bless me. Thank you.
She had one relatively poor meal, right? And she actually said to me that it was a mindset shift for her, because in the past, if she had one bad meal, she'd think the whole day was ruined.
Yep.
And again, I used the cringe analogies, like, if you got one flat tire, you wouldn't go out and slash the other three.
Absolutely.
Do you know?
Yep.
And I always say to my clients, like, don't miss twice. If you have a relatively poor meal, if you go out and have a takeaway or whatever it is, make sure your next meal is a good quality meal. If you have a poor training session, make sure your next one is a good quality session. If you have a poor night's sleep, try to make sure your next one is a good night's sleep.
You're just one good decision from getting back on track.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's this mad notion that it has to be perfect all the time. Like, perfection does not exist. And we've said it, we're not perfect. We're not robots. We make mistakes. Just get back on track. Simple as that.
Yeah, but when people hear just get back on track, it can be very easy. It's either like me saying, how do you lose weight? Oh, get on a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean? For me, for example, last week in Japan, I walked to one of the gyms. It was the Thursday, and there's a reason why I said Thursday. I walked to the gym, took about 20 minutes to get there, looked up to the sign.
I know the reason.
And it said, no visitors on Thursdays. I shit you not.
Yeah.
And after me going to the hassle of getting my gym gear ready and saying to the missus, here, look, you can go do your own thing. I'm going to the gym, I have to get it done. Walk down, no visitors on Thursday.
Who comes up with that?
So, like that, I could have just said, fuck this for the rest of the day and just scrapped it off and said, look, I won't bother. Got out of my tissy fit, walked home and I said, look, what I can do today to just improve on that.
Exactly.
I could look at it like I got my extra steps in because I walked to and from the gym, an extra 40 minutes. I made sure that meal that I had I wasn't ripping the piss because I didn't get that gym session in. There was no real point in me doing that, but it meant that I had to get the extra gym session done on the Friday, Saturday, Sunday to make
not
up for
ideal,
it.
not perfect, but you're making it work.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just looking for that consistency rather than chasing perfection, because there's no such thing as perfection.
And if you keep chasing perfection, you're going to be let down and you're going to be disappointed. You need to accept the fact that it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be smooth sailing. There's going to be bumps in the road. But as Mark just said, consistency matters much more than striving for perfection.
Yep. And that kind of would tie into point number 4, which would be, how long are you going to do this? Because if you're to say to yourself, I'm going to diet, I'm going to try be as consistent as possible, that is great.
How long am I going to be consistent for?
Exactly. And that is a big one why people fail on their diets, is that they don't set themselves a clear start and end date.
Yeah.
Like what we mentioned at the start of this video, we're doing photo shoots.
Yeah, so I had my start date, I had somewhat of an end date. We were saying kind of between 12 and 14 weeks. Now that's extended because I've decided to do a photo shoot. But my fat loss phase would have been wrapped up in 12 to 14 weeks had I not decided to do a photo shoot. I had a start date. I got home from New Zealand the 27th of January. I was over there visiting my brother and his family, and I started the very next day into my diet phase. I knew when my end date was. I knew how much I wanted to lose, pretty much within a kilo or 2. And then we've decided to do the shoot, which is 6 weeks away now. So it's another 6 weeks, and then the diet is done.
Yep. And with that, that just doesn't count for diets as well, with setting the start and end date. Like I mentioned, exactly. Like I mentioned before several times, up until this point, I have just strictly been powerlifting. And what I love about powerlifting, number one, it's a performance-based sport, kind of, and it's a performance-based goal.
Like High Rocks.
Yes. That's our next goal. We're going to do a High Rocks duos after the photo shoot. We'll be lean enough for the topless pictures.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But like that, with the powerlifting, what I loved was there was a competition, there was an end date, and I knew 20 weeks out this was going to be a 20-week process, a 20-week prep, that if I was maybe 15 weeks into prep and if I was like, sack off the gym this week, well, yeah, but in 15 weeks time I'm going to be stepping up on the platform. My coach isn't going to be stepping up on the platform. I have to do it. So what I do right now will matter in that time. So it's the very same with the diets. What I'm doing now might suck, might be a little hungry, tracking the calories might be a bit of an inconvenience because I'm going out for dinner. So what? In 8 weeks time, at the end of the diet, you will thank yourself that you did put in that work. So give your future self a gift, not a problem. Wanky as that sounds.
Yeah, no, it's a fact. Yeah, definitely. And like that, you know, when any of my clients come to me with a goal, whatever it is, I'll say, right, when do you want to achieve that goal by? Let's set ourselves a time frame, whatever it is. If it's lose half a stone, lose a stone, or if it's a performance based goal, I want to run a 10k. Right, well, let's break it down. Let's reverse back from the goal and see how long it's going to take us to get there.
Yep. And that's a lot of people have tried to do in the past, lose the stone, lose a half stone, but they've never been told when do you want to do it?
Yeah.
Because I've known for a lot of times when I've had clients sign up with me, let's say, and they're saying, let's say, oh yeah, I want to lose a stone, and when I ask them when, I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what we need to figure out.
100%. And I think that ties nicely into point 5 of having a coach, which is the most important one, I reckon, almost of all the ones we've just spoke about. If you have a coach and you keep your coach until you get to where you want to be, you learn all of the elements that you need to know. Like, if you come with a goal of losing a stone and you lose the stone and then you leave, how are you going to keep that stone off? You haven't learned the tools to keep it off. You've learned how to lose it, you haven't learned how to keep it off.
Yeah.
And all of these things require different phases, and you need to go through those phases guided by somebody who's been there, who's done that, to show you how to do it.
Yeah, and that's something that I like to get across in my social media, like that with powerlifting. A lot of that, it was gaining phases and maintenance phases.
Yeah.
Don't do too much dieting phases unless things go out of hand. But they're the main phases, and that's a video in itself, basically, those different phases. But you're looking at your fat loss phase, setting a timeline.
Yep.
After that will come your maintenance phase, where you would start to increase your calories whilst trying to maintain that physique that you've achieved. But now you're switching your focus from an aesthetics goal to more so performance trying to improve your strength.
Yep.
And after that, then once you're able to maintain that for roughly, what I like to do is about 3 to 5 weeks.
Yep.
They're stable with their energy, they've replenished their energy stores that they have depleted during that diet phase. They're not feeling the fatigue from the diet.
It's washed away,
And especially after a diet phase, which is another video in itself, is how you feel right after finishing up the diet, because we will definitely experience that after the photo shoot.
Yeah.
But you'll go into a lean gains phase where you'll increase the calories further and put on muscle over the long course, and that could be anything from 6 to 12 months, I've seen in most cases. But the main thing is having those timelines in place, and like for a lot of you probably haven't even heard or knew about those phases, and that's the joys only for we've had coaches ourselves that have guided us through those phases. We wouldn't be in this position here now, and having the accountability holding us each week rather than saying, oh, I've lost the stone, see ya, thanks very much. I haven't been through a maintenance phase, I don't know how to maintain this physique, and this is where people, as we said at the start of the video, that's why people's diet fails, because a lot of the time they can achieve that, losing the stone, but they end up putting it back on.
They're back 6 months later, a stone and a half heavier.
Exactly, they end up in a worse position than they previously were. So having the guidance and the accountability through those different phases, especially the diet phase transition to a maintenance, that can be the difference between someone who gets in shape, stays in great shape, and improves every single year, which is what you should expect, versus somebody who is just constantly
up and down, up and down, up and down,
dieting, trying to lose the same 5 kilos, the same half a stone 2-3 times a year, and that sucks. That's very demotivating. It is, and I've seen that personally as well. I've had clients in that position that have been through that. They've dieted, they've lost maybe 10 kilos, fantastic, and then they
put up 12.
They come back in 6 months' time and they're in a worse off position, and it can be quite frustrating for them, and they might feel almost nervous reaching out again because they're thinking
they failed because they're back there. I've had that as well with many clients.
So just to kind of wrap that up would be to say, look, there are more phases than just the dieting phases. Absolutely. But being able to break it down and having a coach guiding you through those will make sure it'll give you the best possible opportunity to just improve on your physique and learn to lose the weight, keep it off, and how you actually improve on a yearly basis.
Definitely.
Because look, I'm not blowing smoke up or arses or anything like that, but I would say that both of us have just got in better shape as the years go on.
Definitely, and that's what it's all about. Like, and if we had left our coaches when we'd lost all the fat we wanted to lose, and then not had a clue what to do afterwards, we wouldn't be in this position.
Or if I did one powerlifting competition with my coach at the time and said, that's me, I know how to powerlift now, and then
that's literally what I was just thinking. Like if I'd left my coach straight away after my first photo shoot, which we've had clients do, and they're a mess after it because they don't know what to do. And it's like that, when clients lose the stone or whatever it is, they think, job done now, see you later. I was like, you're not finished just because you've lost the weight. Now you need to learn how to maintain it, and as you said, set more performance-based goals, build on your physique, and actually improve, and not be coming back in 6 to 12 months' time worse off.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. That's the 5 points. Anyway, the 5 main points that we wanted to discuss of why your diet tends to fail, and if any of them do resonate, or if you have any questions on any of those or any of the phases that we were talking about, make sure to leave them in the comment section. Be more than happy to help.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And in the meantime,
We will catch you in the next one. And again, if anybody wants to know how to use MyFitnessPal, drop a comment and I'll send you over a free user guide on it.
Yeah, so what you can do as well, what I'll do is leave the links in below in the description. So feel free to use those, download them, work away.
Yep.
And yeah, hope
Easier
you enjoy.
again.
Exactly.
Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
Peace.